we are dealing with the CRP protocol, oxygenation devices, NIV, high flow nasal oxygen, and ventilation. All symptomatic patients hospitalized should have to be give the supportive care like hydration, supplemental oxygen if saturation is less than 95%, paracetamol and all these antiviral drugs, steroids. Screening and risk stratification of all the patients admitted in ICU is most important. The risk factors are male patient above 60 years with comorbidities, diabetes, hypertension, pregnancy. So news square already told by the physicians for the risk stratification, and all these parameters included are age, respiratory rate, saturation, supplemental oxygenation, blood pressure and heart rate, consciousness and temperature. Then clinically we can classify the patient as asymptomatic with mild when only respiratory tract infection like fever, myalgia, cough, sore throat present. Moderate pneumonia with no obvious hypoxemia and but with chest CT lesions. Severe means pneumonia with hypoxemia with saturation less than 92% and critical with all complications like ARDS, encephalopathy and myocardial injury. So oxygen therapy, this is the source of oxygen, that is the oxygen flow meter, and the source of oxygen is oxygen cylinder which contains the high pressure gas. The oxygen comes through the central pipeline supply from the liquid oxygen tank or the manifold of the gas cylinders, and there is the oxygen concentrator. So these are the interfaces to deliver the oxygen. The first one is the nasal prongs, second is the simple mask, and third is the with rebreathing mask. And the FiO2 depends on the oxygen flow, patient's factors and the device factors. So these are the interfaces: nasal cannula, simple face mask with reservoir bag. So this one is the nasal prongs or nasal cannula. This is the simple plastic tubing and having the nasal prongs. So we have to arrange the oxygen flow is 1 to 6 liter per minute, and we can deliver the FiO2 from 24 to 44% oxygenation through this device. If we adjust the flow of oxygen flow 1 liter, we can deliver the 24%, with 2 liter 28%, 3 liter 32%, 4 liter 36%, and when we adjust the flow 6 liter, we can deliver the 44% of the oxygen. And this is next is the simple face mask. So with this simple face mask, we have to keep the oxygen flow liter 5 to 8 liters and minimum flow adjusted 5 liter to prevent the CO2 rebreathing when we use the simple face mask. And here we can deliver up to the FiO2 up to the 40 to 60%. So the patients who are not maintaining the saturation with nasal prongs, we have to attach the simple mask. So with flow when we attach the simple face mask, when flow rate is 5 to 6 liter, we can give the patient 40% of the FiO2. With 6 to 7 liter, almost 50% FiO2 is delivered, and with 7 to 8 liter, 60% FiO2 we can give to the patient. And still the patient is not maintaining the saturation, shift the patient to the with the flow face mask with this rebreathing mask. So here we have to keep the oxygen flow 8 to 15 liters per minute, so that we can deliver the FiO2 of 60 to 80%. In this case, this mask is required when patient needs the high concentration of oxygen. The hair bag should remain inflated to ensure the highest FiO2 and prevent the CO2 rebreathing. So bag should remain inflated during the patient's inspiration and expiration time. So we have to adjust the high flow rate 8 to 15 liters when we attach this type of rebreathing mask. Then non-invasive ventilation. So what is non-invasive ventilation? Is the administration of the ventilatory support without using the endotracheal tube or tracheostomy tube, that is the invasive artificial airway. So here we are using the NIV, non-invasive, and high flow nasal oxygen, and both are these aerosol generating. So whenever the patients are present in the ICU, staff should wear the PPE kit. So these are the machines for delivering of the high flow nasal oxygen. High flow nasal oxygen, it is the simple machine capable of generating the high flow of up to 80 liters per minute along with the oxygen blender. It delivers the accurate FiO2 and also delivers the humidified gases. So there is no dryness of the dryness feeling to the patient. It also delivers the accurately FiO2. Efficient supplemental oxygen delivery, high flow nasal oxygen generates the flow dependent FiO2. Here the delivering flows higher than the spontaneous inspiratory demand is essential to maintain the minimizing the room air entrapment. So with this high flow nasal oxygen, anatomic dead space is also decreases by as it wash out the CO2 from the upper airways. It reduces the work of breathing. So what is the aim of oxygen therapy, high flow nasal cannula and the mechanical ventilation? So our aim is to maintain the saturation above 94% or the PaO2 around 80 millimeter of Hg. So first start the oxygen therapy with nasal prongs 2 to 4 liters per minute and titrate to keep the saturation more than 94%. If not possible, then change to the simple mask or non-rebreathing mask and give the patient 50 liters per minute oxygen to keep the saturation more than 94%. If still not possible, then use the high flow nasal cannula or NIV. ABG monitoring is essential. If the PF ratio, PiO2 and FiO2 ratio drops below 300 or there is an increased work of breathing, consider the awake prone or the CARP, that is the COVID awake prone repositioning protocol. So use CPAP with caution only if the high flow nasal oxygen is not available. And all these steps need to be reviewed every 30 minutes. If still there is no improvement, consider the mechanical ventilation with intubation. Awake prone positioning. Why prone positioning helps? How it is helps to the patient? The prone positioning reduces the ventilation perfusion mismatch. Also improves the hypoxemia and reduces the pleural gradient between the dependent and non-dependent lung, and so improves the oxygenation. Awake prone positioning is safe and may slow the respiratory deterioration in select patients with COVID-19 who require the oxygen supplementation or NIV CPAP. So this also reduce the demand for invasive mechanical ventilation. The next is COVID awake repositioning or proning protocol. That is the CARP protocol. Aim of this is to avoid the intubation and improve the saturation in COVID-19 patient. So this is the changing of the position of the patient. That timely. The time position changes. That is every 2 hoursly. Ask the patient to switch between the following position. With bed adjustment will be required between the position. The position that is the for 2 hours patient should be in left lateral recumbent position. Then next 2 hours right lateral. Then 2 hours for sitting upright with 60 to 90 degrees. And fourth is the lying prone in the bed. Can be used with the high flow oxygen and high flow nasal oxygen. If these 4 positions are not raising the oxygen saturation, the 5th position we can try, that is the Trendelenburg. Supine position with bed 30 degrees head down. And 15 minutes after each position change, check to make the sure oxygen saturation has not decreased. If yes, try the another position. If patient has significant drop in oxygen saturation, then we have to check the source of the oxygen. Whether the oxygen tubing is loose or it is not attached to the flow meter. Ask the patient to move from different position and check for the oxygen saturation. If still patient is not maintaining saturation, do not delay the intubation. If it is very clear that patient will not improve with oxygen therapy, high flow nasal cannula, NIV, go for the invasive ventilation. So for ventilation, all the patients having acute breathlessness, having PiO2 to FiO2 ratio less than 300, bilateral patchy infiltrates not consistent with pulmonary edema, no clinical evidence of left atrial hypertension, and having ARDS and SARI and not maintaining the saturation. So before putting the patient on invasive ventilation, calculate the predicted body weight. That is, for male it is 50 plus 2.3, height in inches minus 60, and female 45.5 plus 2.3, height in inches minus 60. Select control mode. You can select volume control or pressure control and start with the 100% FiO2 when you attach the ventilator, and start the PEEP of 8 centimeter of water and change as able depending on the PaO2. First, set the tidal volume 6 milliliter per kg predicted body weight, and plateau pressure should be less than 30 at all times, and driving pressure less than 15 centimeter of water. So our target is achieve the minute ventilation and aim for the pH 7.2. If PaCO2 is raising, increase the respiratory rate. As long as the pH is maintained more than 7.2, we can permit the hypercapnia between 50 to 70 mm of the Hg. Our target is the oxygen saturation 88 to 95% and PaO2 60 to 80 millimeter of Hg when with invasive ventilator. Change PEEP as per the oxygenation. Can use PEEP and FiO2 table from the ARDS net, and usually PEEP may not be needed in COVID patient. But maintain the plateau pressure less than 30 centimeter of water. In prone ventilation, do not disconnect the ventilatory circuit, as it will add the aerosol. Keep adequate cushioning at the pressure points. Keep prone for 16 to 18 hours. That is mostly night time. We keep the patient in the prone position. And ABG is recommended twice daily. After 16 hours, please supine daily nursing care, X-ray chest, ABG, and depending on the condition of patient, repeat the investigation. So monitoring expected to the patient on ventilator is ECG, pulse oximeter, non-invasive blood pressure monitoring. For ABG, sample collection, arterial line monitoring, or take the blood from the arterial blood for EBG. It is CO2, blood glucose, and we have to do the inflammatory markers every third day, and repeat the X-ray daily. But if the patients are on high flow nasal cannula or simple face mask, repeat the X-ray every fifth day. The routine investigation, that is CBC, LFT, markers like cytokine, ferritin, D-dimer, triglycerides, IL-6, ECG, depending on the patient, if he has a cardiac problem, troponin, CPKMB, blood culture. So red flag signs in the investigation are absolute neutrophil to absolute lymphocyte ratio more than 3.5, PF ratio less than 300. If the PF ratio is below 150, better to go for the mechanical ventilation. If the PF ratio is less than 100, you have to intubate the patient and put the patient on mechanical ventilator. Rising CRP, ferritin, D-dimer, LDH, and triglycerides. Troponin 1 positive and positive CPKMB, these are the red flag signs in the investigation. Then all ICU patients need to go through the checklist. That is the already the medicine people told you that this is the fast hugs and bead. Feeding, analgesia, sedation, thromboprophylaxis, glycemic control, spontaneous breathing trial, bowel movement, catheter care, if there is neurological disability, Avoid NSAID like Brufen and all these things. Use paracetamol whenever necessary. All inhaled medicines, that is the bronchodilator, preferably given by the meter dose inhaler to reduce the chances of aerosolization. Avoid nebulized drugs. Judiciously use the sedation as per the patient's requirement. Daily sedation-free check the sedation-free intervals and assess the patient for the weaning. Closed suction catheter used for the suctioning of the endotracheal tubes or tracheostomy tube, so to avoid the aerosolization. Start early enteral nutrition, that is within 24 to 48 hours of the admission. Frequent position changing is important to prevent the pressure sores. Early mobilization if possible. Then for sedation we can use the midazolam, fentanyl. Noradrenaline should be the first choice for the blood pressure. Insulin, use insulin for the glycemic control. Better to stop the oral hypoglycemic agent. If muscle relaxant is required, atracurium is our first choice. So in summarize, the collaborative effort is needed for the seriously ill patient affected by the COVID-19. Risk stratification is important by the National Early Warning Score. Then multidisciplinary approach is essential. Intubation and airway management, oxygenation with high flow nasal oxygen, non-invasive ventilation, invasive ventilation, cardiopulmonary resuscitation and hemodynamic support. So the new guidelines come this week is every third day you have to do the cytokine markers, every fifth day you should do the chest x-ray of the patient, and do not delay the mechanical ventilation if PF ratio less than 150. If PF ratio is less than 100, do not keep the patient on face mask or high flow nasal oxygenation. You have to ventilate the patient and put on the ventilator. Thank you.